If you are not ready for deeper, go ahead, just scroll past this. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the punchline as well. If you feel unseen, it's not an indication of your worth. Being married to my husband means a few things for me, his wife. One of those being seeing many a green room backstage area over the years, which I am there for moral support and snacks. One of the things that I have noticed over my time, over my tenure in these places and spaces has been, if people don't readily know what you do, why you're there, or who you belong to, you might as well be invisible. What really bothered me though was people seeing me after the fact once they realized who I belonged to or why I was even there. Being in environments like these, it's so easy to get taken by the culture. To start coming in, trying to show and prove that you're important, that you're worth something, that you have power even. It's an interesting thing to observe and consider. From experience, I have learned that the real power and peace comes when you resist buying into the temptation for personal glory. In Colossians 3, Paul writes about setting our eyes on things above and letting the peace of Christ rule in our hearts. What I know is that personal glory is directly opposite of what Jesus has called us to do and how he's called us to live. If you're subscribed to the Jesus thing, you have to try to live how he's called us to live. And you do that by believing that he is before all things, and in him all things are held together. So when I see and experience these places and spaces, I am no longer offended. I don't have a desire to buy in, and I resist the temptation for that personal pleasure over what the Lord, I feel, has called me to do and how he's called me to live. This is super, super dramatic lighting. When we were growing up, my mom used to tell us that we need to treat everyone with kindness and respect, no matter who they were. And I feel like that was like the setup, the pregame for what the Holy Spirit has convicted me of in these places and spaces that I find myself in nowadays. To be more bold, to come outside of myself, even though I really am not a fan of small talk, to be that person that puts weight on your identity because I know who you belong to, whether you believe that or not. And I believe that you belong to the God of the universe. And so I'm coming with that same energy and equal honor every single time. Because I believe that Jesus came, he died for me because he thought I was worth it. So my identity holds weight, and I don't have to prove that to you first. Conversely, I believe the same for you. I believe that Jesus came and died to give you the opportunity for a new life if you choose that. And so your identity holds weight, and you don't have to prove it to me first. Your worth far outlies anything that we could give you here on earth, simply because Jesus thought you were worth the sacrifice. Before you were even thought of, before all of your talent and skill and what you bring to the table, he thought you were worth it to give up his life to give you a chance. So, back to the punchline. If you feel unseen, know that it is not an indication of your worth. Plain, simple, full stop. That's all I've got.